Okay, everybody, today is Wednesday, May 31st. So far today it's been a pretty busy day. I finished building my second chicken tractor. Fixed the door on the other one. It had a goofy door on it. I mowed the field, and then I went in and ate breakfast, and right now it's 11:30 in the morning, so pretty busy so far today. I should have showed you some more on that build on that chicken tractor, but I didn't. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to get the push mower out and go where the chickens used to be and get that area ready for some cover crops. Beautiful out this morning, still no rain. It's not in the forecast for quite a while yet. It's actually scary dry around here right now. I've not seen it this dry before, this early in the season. It's so dry we're almost out of water in our totes, and we can store, I'm not sure off the top of my head, we have 4 250-gallon totes and one 1,500-gallon tote, and we're down to about a total of less than 1,000 gallons of water, and it's only May 31st. Normally this time of year it's pretty wet. A lot of times you're fighting the weather to get your garden in. Now you're fighting the weather because the sun's trying to fry you, and it's windy. This little mower does a pretty good job, to be honest. Just being a 40 volt, they make a bigger one, but it does a good job for what I use it for. Just gonna know where the chickens was. I mowed with the riding mower earlier when I mowed the field. I mowed that area, but I want to get it down lower. We'll put some cover crops in. So I'm just going to mow it down closer to the ground, and then I'm going to tear it up a little bit with my stirrup hoe or maybe even broad fork, and I'm going to put some Sudan grass and clover in this area. So I mowed over all of it 2 times, once up pretty high and then once down almost as low as I could mow it. The reason I do that is because I want to get it down as low as possible. There's still some pretty thick grass in here. Maybe a little bit out of wind. There's still a fair bit of grass in here. Still pretty good mat of grass. But anyway, I want to take you can look and see. You can look and see where a lot of poop and feathers and real now grass clippings in there. Right now, if you had a tiller right now, would be the time that you would want to use one on this area to till it up, till all that crap in the ground, let it rot up good. But it's going to rot up just fine on the surface. And I don't till for simply just because I don't have a tiller, but I wouldn't if I did, because stuff falls down in the woods naturally and it lays on top the soil. It don't get mixed in. Nature don't mix the compost and stuff in. It just mulches itself and falls down, and it's better for the bacteria and the fungi and all that stuff. It's better for the soil life to not till it. In fact, there's been studies. I read a study here a while back. There's studies that show that tilling over a long period of time is actually worse for the soil than spraying herbicides and pesticides, which I don't know. I find that hard to believe personally, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. And there's also a guy, I can't remember where he was from. It was the same study actually, but he said you could take him, he could go to a farm that hasn't been farmed in 20 years, and he could show you where the till layer was. So from that point down, the soil wasn't bad, but from that point, from the depth of the till up, the soil's actually destroyed over time. Because when you till, you're releasing all the carbon and all that back, nitrogen and all that back in the atmosphere, and you want that in your soil. That's what grows your plants. Not the, I mean, yeah, you need carbon, or you need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but that's not all you need. You need minerals and everything else more than you need that stuff. It'll pull that out of the atmosphere and put it back into the roots if you have that. If you don't till, it'll naturally pull it in if you have the minerals right and whatnot. But I do know the soil over here is jacked up. Had a little bit of a sidetrack. My lovely wife was gone and came home, and when she came home, I was down there working where you seen me a minute ago. When she came home, I knew he was going to bring the meat birds out, so they're out now. And then I wanted to take the plastic off the cattle panel greenhouse, which I did. So, because it was 101.9 or something in there just a little bit ago, well, before I took this plastic off. And the tomatoes needs trellised. And I didn't trellis them yet because it's too hot in there. And I took the plastic off and thought, well, instead of worrying about that ground down there where I was, for today, I'll just take this plastic down there for a day or two, and then I'll put the cover crop seeds in, and all the grasses and weeds that's there is gone. Then I will rake it up, rough the soil up a little bit, and put down the sorghum Sudan grass and the crimson clover. So I'm gonna wrap this up for the day. I'll come back and finish this video in a few days. It'll be like that to you. Alright, so today's Friday. I did this one Wednesday. So now we're going to go and pull the plastic up. As you can see, it pretty much made this a barren wasteland. Didn't hurt it any though. It was all dried up and dead anyways from the chickens and me mowing it down to the ground. There's still some green in there, but it's good enough for what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to roll up my fire hose and fold up my tarp, and we'll get it ready to plant some cover crops. Alrighty, got that all cleaned up, wrapped up, put it in my wagon. Went up and got a bucket of fertilizer, minerals, whatever. Just minerals is pretty much all it is. If you watched that video the other night, you would have seen it. So there's that. Uh-oh. How did that one get out? We got a wee little chicken out, and I have no idea how she got out. Alright, hopefully you can hear me. So I have some Sudan grass. Just gonna mix this up in a bucket. Got some crimson clover. I used some crimson clover last year. This is a legume, so it's going to help fix nitrogen, and it's a flower, so it'll help bring some pollinators. Then I have, I'm not 100% sure what that is, how you pronounce it, but it's a pretty flower. It'll help bring pollinators. For that, I'm just going to dump it all in there. There wasn't a whole lot of seeds in that. Then I have some Anytime Mix, whatever that is. They're scented. Dump them in. And then more than what's in there, I'm just going to dump the rest of that in there too. There wasn't a whole lot of seeds in that, so that's all right though. main thing is the Sudan grass and the crimson clover is the main thing. Them other flowers are a plus. And in a week or two, I'll put some buckwheat on that. The reason I don't want to put buckwheat on now is because it'll overtake these and it'll snuff these out before they start to germinate. So. And I'll spread these out just like I did the minerals that you see me put out a minute ago. Crazy chicken ladies over there getting the water and grit. These little meat birds are nuts. I don't know why they spook so easy, but they're only 3 weeks old. All of them spooked it pretty early when they was that young. And now that that's done, I'm just going to rake it, and I'm just going to take a leaf rake and just rake it over, rough it up a little bit, kind of put it underneath all the grass clippings and feathers and chicken poop and whatnot that's there. I'm not going to worry too much about making it perfect. It's just a cover crop, and the reason I'm putting a cover crop in there for 2 reasons. One, whenever the cover crop comes back, whenever the stuff starts growing good, and the buckwheat is actually flowered and went to seed, at that point I'll just put the chickens back over that area and let them eat them seeds as their feed, so I won't have to feed them so much. So this is going to feed the chickens and give us some good biomass underground, and next year then I could use this for, I don't know what I'll use it for, maybe nothing, but I'm thinking at this point in time, I'm thinking maybe corn or sweet potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, or regular potatoes in this bed next year, but I'm not sure. Maybe nothing, maybe garlic, maybe, who knows. Maybe I'll extend the raspberry patch at that point and go from there. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but right now I'm going to break it out and, make the seeds take. Alright, so there it is. That's how I'm going to start this bed. Like I said, I ain't sure if it's going to be a garden bed next year or just whatever next year. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do in that area. But that's how I'm going to start a no-till garden. Last year, if you seen how I started my potato patch that's down there in the far corner, I showed you how to start it no-till, and I also showed you how to start down below the garden where that black ground cover is. I showed you how to start it no-till. So it's maybe not the best way to start stuff, but it works. I mean, it worked good. I usually have pretty good results. And I've never tilled anything in the garden. I've never tilled. I just use a pitchfork. I got a broad fork, but I like the pitchfork better. I don't know why, I just do. For me, it's easier. Maybe it's because I'm short, I don't know, vertically challenged, so to speak. But anyways, I never tilled that garden up there either, and we have immaculate production with it, but I have a lot of compost in it over the years. This garden here, I need to get a lot more compost in it. And this bed here, hopefully this cover crop and the chickens in there is going to make it so I don't have to worry too much about compost. I'd like to try to get away from buying compost and start either producing it all here with the chickens that I have, or just cover crops, taking care of the soil, making it be what it needs to be. So that's going to wrap this video up. I have another cover crop plan I'm going to work on right now. I'll probably show you an update on it later on and explain to you what I did, but I'm not going to video it. So that's going to wrap it up. So make sure you check out our online store. Thanks everybody for the support, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and like and follow, share with your friends and family. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.